Okay, so this is going to be what connects us to the Antichrist. It's going to do it in a lot of different ways. It's going to connect us to the Kundalini, and it's going to do it in some very unique ways, in a way that the Spirit's going to show you what I'm talking about is real and true. We describe now that these ancient spirit kings, now if the ancient spirit kings are the fathers of the descendancy of these locusts, the living locust, the current living generation of locusts that are about to come upon the earth, they are paying homage to their ancient father gods. And of course, like I said, they're not in direct communication with them down there. It's not like you see spirits floating around. These spirits are contained in crystal. I'm telling you, you can't come in contact with a spirit being in a material world unless that being is housed in a material vessel. You just can't do it. There has to be some sort of translation of the form that the human eye has the ability or the sight to see. And that's why even when Jesus Christ was resurrected, he still maintained a form that was unified to his physical earthman identity so that they could recognize him as the same Jesus that they knew. But not to say that that's his real form. Jesus isn't in the form of a man. When the Bible says, let us make man in our image and our likeness, that's the potentials. That's the potentials. People aren't thinking deep enough. The potentials are that man has the ability to love. Man has the ability to create. Man has the ability to show mercy. Man has the ability to forgive. That's the image of the Father, because the Father does not have a human image, but he has a personality of perfection which has been handed down to his children of time and space as their potentials of personality, in which the Father is the giver of personality. So the locusts themselves are now paying homage to their father, or their ancient fathers, which are the ones coming from the crystal, which created this retrogression of religion in the first place and crystallized it into some sort of non-progressive doctrine. So now look what the locusts come with. And it says, by these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, by the smoke, by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. Now remember, the power of the locust was in their mouth. And then it described the locust having tails like scorpions, which was poison. And then when it striketh a man, when a man strucketh by poison, that's something entering into him. Okay, and it's causing him anguish. That's the false doctrine of the locust. Now the false doctrine of the locust is going to now uniquely appear to itself to you when you begin to look at what I told you the false doctrine of the locust was supposed to do. The false doctrine of the locust is supposed to prepare the way for the Antichrist. Well, what's the Antichrist number? 666. He wants to come into the material form. Their doctrine is going to be the thing that pushes the peridium shift to make the world want his appearance in a material form. Well, 666, there's verse 18. Verse 18 fulfills what I told you the false doctrine are trying to do. They're trying to bring about the carbon material form, which is 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, the carbon-based atom form, and otherwise known as the shadow of death, or the valley of the shadow of death. But people don't understand that, because the carbon atom is the shadow. And if you were to take away all of the light and all of the water out of a log, the only thing that would be left would be carbon atoms. Shadow, the same thing that's in my pencil line. So when I draw a pencil line, I create a depression, which would be the valley, and then the carbon inside of it is the shadow. And that's where we get the letter killeth. It's that when people try to live their life by the line and not realize that there is an ever-progressive evolution of truth that's happening around you between the environment that you exist in as it's ever-changing, you yourself are supposed to change with it. But you're supposed to change along the same path that Jesus Christ laid for you. And then now we got the crystallized doctrine, which is beginning to fulfill itself on verse 18, which is now manifesting itself as what I told you they wanted to do. This doctrine is going to bring him in, the man of sin, 666. Now the fire, the smoke, and the brimstone is going to connect us to who they want to bring about. It's the rising Kundalini, the spirit of the fallen prince, the Antichrist. So now they're speaking with the same crystallized religious false doctrine that their crystallized fathers were held within. And it's the same crystallized religion that's going to try to release these beings into our material world. It's a hyper fractal of information. That's why nobody gets it.